All right, Kevin McCloskey, Ricky Portella coming to you for the 2015 version of the Road to the Ring. Something we've been doing for the past 2 or 3 years now, Ricky, where we're going to take a look at each week at Western Alamance' coming up playoff opponent and try and give the fans a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of info about the team. Ricky, this week, we don't have a lot to say because it's a team we're familiar with. The playoff brackets, to be quite honest, did not go our way. You know, if you're thinking about it from a fan's perspective, we're going to be playing round one, the Morhead Panthers, a team obviously in our conference that we've already played and beaten this year. It's kind of hard, me personally, and hopefully the team and the coaches are different, but for me personally, it's kind of hard to get up for this game. What are your thoughts about playing a conference opponent in round one?
Well, I don't like it, first of all, and I think, but I understand how the brackets are made, and I understand that, you know, they take the teams that are these records and they draw straws and so forth, and we landed where we did. So we have to play Morhead. I don't like it, but it is what it is, and we have to play Morhead. And hopefully our guys are going to remember the first half of the Morhead game.
Yeah, and let's talk about, that's what we have to talk about. We're going to try and go back and revisit Morhead because they are a very formidable opponent. We kind of overlook them on a yearly basis, but this year they are very, very good. Morhead ended up finishing the season 8-2. We were 9-2. They had 2 losses in the conference to, guess who? Us and Eastern Alamance. Those losses came on 9/11. We played them on September the 11th. We beat them 35-14. And then they had to turn around and play Eastern. They lost to Eastern 31-13 the week after. Since then, they've run off 6 in a row, and including last week, they were down to Northern Guilford and came back and beat the Nighthawks. And, you know, I was happy about that. But from a Morhead perspective, what do you think that does to their psyche?
Well, and we talked about it when we played Morhead after the game, and, you know, there were some emotions after the game. And if you remember, the comment was made that I felt at the time Morhead came into A.M. Prim Stadium believing that they could win that game. And when it didn't go their way, obviously I think some emotions took over. But, you know, so we've talked about the conference all season. And we've talked about how we're top-heavy, you know, with Eastern Alamance, Western, and Northern Guilford. And we always felt that Morhead was in that lower tier. And I even felt that way this year until they beat Northern Guilford. And that was kind of a coming out game for them because that sort of justified the game that they gave us. And I'm not sure about the Eastern game, but you know, they certainly opened some eyebrows when we played them. But that Northern Guilford win set the tone for their season, and I'm sure they're going to come into A.M. Prim this Friday night riding high.
Yeah, I mean, from their perspective, they're looking for revenge. From our perspective, been there, done that. Why do we have to do it again? That's me. But again, it's up to the coaches and the players to get around them. But let's talk about them. Let's go into some detail about the Panthers. Like I said, they're a very good team. This team is extremely, extremely senior heavy. I mean, I'm looking at their max prep roster. You know, to be quite honest, it's do or die. I don't know how their JV team is or anything else, but they're very senior heavy. Virtually all their statistical leaders are seniors. And in talking about their roster only lists like 30 or 33 players, I think, whereas we list 65. So in max preps now, the good thing is that has to be pretty accurate because they're required to keep it accurate. Before, years past, you couldn't tell if it was smoke or mirrors or not, but now it's accurate. So the one thing I think we have on our side, one thing they have on their side is senior leadership and experience. On our side, depth.
Numbers.
Yeah, and I think that showed the first time we played them. Let's talk about some of those seniors that we are really going to have to look out for. Number 1, actually number 8 on this jersey, but number 1 we have to look out for is Will Dabbs, senior quarterback, excellent athlete. He hurt us in the first half when we played him. He's thrown for almost 2,000 yards this year, 1,890 yards, 21 touchdowns. You know, he's sort of like Trey in that he runs and passes. You saw him play. What did you think of him?
Well, the play that really hurt us a lot in the first half against Morhead was Will taking the shotgun snaps, and it was literally a quarterback sneak. I mean, drop back like you're going to pass or hand off, and then run up the middle. We were sort of still in transition. You know, we had lost riding away, and we were still trying to figure out the middle of our defense. we shut them down in the second half, which is a good thing for us. And plus, we've got Rodney coming back. Not that Rasco didn't do a good job, because he filled in unbelievably well. So great athlete. One of many great athletes that they have.
Yeah, and you know, and from that perspective, I think they resemble Eastern Alamance in the sense that they take their best athlete, they put the ball in his hands, they get a la John Lamont, and say, win the game for us. They do have other guys though, just like Eastern does. They have other guys. Dabbs, let's talk about Dabbs a little bit more. I want to compare him to Trey. You know, I mentioned Dabbs had about 1,900 yards passing. Trey's sitting around 2,100. So, you know, they're not far apart, but, you know, Trey's got over 1,000 yards rushing, whereas Dabbs is not quite at 1,000. He's at 907. But again, very, very close. So those two, almost a stalemate, both seniors, both leaders, both dual threat. One thing about Dabbs, though, is he goes both ways. Whereas Trey, 99% of the time, he doesn't. Dabbs, believe it or not, is their leading tackler. Your quarterback is also your leading tackler and second on the team in sacks. That's just, again, it goes back to depth. Eventually, you got to figure he's going to wear down, but obviously it's worked for him. And one more thing he does, he punts. He punts for 40.7 yards average. Just incredible. When Dabbs isn't handling the ball, you got to keep your eye on a guy named, let me see what's it got, Dante King. Dante King, I believe, is a running back or fullback. Ran for he's number 24, ran for 581 yards and 6 touchdowns. I think he scored against us last time. Another good player. And then on the receiving side, keep looking at the low numbers, number 1 and number 2. Number 2 is Mike Jones, a receiver, 853 yards, 9 touchdowns. Number 1 is my choice for the all-name team. I love his name, Jadakiss Jumper, and he's one of their big players. We shut him down. Jadakiss had 598 yards and 7 TDs. They're capable of putting points on the board.
Well, I think the thing that impressed me the most about Morhead, especially in the first half, is that they are very strong. You know, we talked about Northeast Guilford last week and how they need to buy into the program, they need to hit the weight room and so forth. Morehead is not like that, guys. A lot of these athletes that Kevin's talking about are wrestlers. Yeah. And I learned this from talking to a coworker.
They have a strong wrestling program.
Very strong wrestling program, topped in the state, which means that these kids are strong and they're in shape, because wrestlers are in shape. So, you know, that's what we have. You know, we have a great off-season program, and our kids are strong and they're in shape. So is Morehead. The problem with Morehead is 22 out of 32 seniors. Most of their key players are seniors. They go both ways. They can run out of gas in the second half.
Yeah, and that's what happened the first time we played them. Actually, right at the end, in the second, they were getting ready to open up a decent lead on us, and the play of the game that time was Casey Okoronkwo. If you remember, he picked the ball off, went 87 yards for a touchdown, changed the whole complexion of the game, and then the second half we shut him down. Okay, this was a big game for our defensive ends, J.J. Webb and Josiah Bellamy. Right. We ended up with 5 sacks, a lot of them coming in the second half. So if we can stop that run, forcing the pass, I do think that our depth will eventually show itself. Now, we did take potentially a couple of hits to our depth, at least one huge hit to our depth. We don't know for sure. We don't know for sure the status of Darius Penix. It's possible he won't play, and if he doesn't, other guys are going to have to step up. And one of the key guys, I think, will be Jake Crispin. Jake started off the year with a bang. Jake was one that was hampered by injuries during the middle part of the year. He's really coming on strong, looked great the last 2 games. I think he's a key component to this offense.
Well, I agree with you. And Casey's run the ball well this year. And you know, let's not forget about, we're so fortunate. We really have quite a few people we can put back there. Josiah Bellamy. He is huge. And when I say huge, I mean he's a big kid. Yeah. And you know, you can put him back there in certain running situations just to, if you want to pound out 2 or 3 yards or whatever. So we have some depth at that position. And you know, if Darius is not able to make the game, and as Kevin said, folks, we do not know, and we're not trying to say one way or the other. I think we have enough depth back there that for this round, we should be able to fill in. Okay, we'd love to have Darius. Don't get me wrong; he's a great athlete. And he means a lot to our team. But we are so lucky to have so many athletes.
Yeah, I look for a senior like Casey Okoronkwo to step up like he did the first time really on defense. I look for him, if he's necessary, to step up on offense and carry that load as running backs. We got very capable people back there. So guys, the more I talk about it, the more excited I'm starting to get. To be honest, I wasn't really even looking forward to doing this because, again, been there, done that. But I hope that maybe you guys will get some of that enthusiasm. When we played them on September 11th, it was obviously a very emotional night for the national significance of that date and the things that it represents. But the crowd was fantastic, and we're going to have that same support this week, guys. So I just encourage you to show up and do it one more time, and then we'll worry about round 2.
That's exactly right. And we've talked about this every year, doing this little segment that we do for the playoffs every year. A couple of years ago we talked about it. We need to win the first game. We had gone a couple seasons and lost in the first round, and we had to figure that out. Well, we did that year before last. Last year we ran into a hot Rocky Mountain team. This year we got to get past Morhead, and then we'll worry about the next team, whoever that may be. But it is an exciting time. Western Alamance is special. We talk about the playoffs as the playoffs are just a progression of the season. There's so many schools in our state, folks, that making the playoffs is an extraordinary thing.
Right.
At Western Alamance, a 9-2 season doesn't cut it, guys. We're looking for 11-0, 10-1. So our coaches and players understand we had a great season. We're looking to continue that season, and we're looking for you to be at A.M. Prim Stadium this Friday night cheering on our players.
Well said, Ricky. We're going to wrap it up, and we'll see you there. Kevin and Ricky P. Good night.